da 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 la la da 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 da. A strange story came to me. It came to me in a dream. It came to me in the feeling of an embrace, the feeling of a sinking kind of embrace, of a relinquishing of fighting and pushing and struggling and just sort of resting. I guess that's what it always is. Giving in to something delicious and sweet and soft and gentle as sleep, and something as comforting as arms, many arms, wrapping you up and never letting you go. So there's no point in fighting anymore. But it's not a fearful thing, it's just a most wonderful kind of surrender. Because the arms are not hurting you. You realize they never were. They are caressing, holding. Sometimes I worry that's all I talk about, but sometimes I think it's all that's worth talking about. At least it is in the night, when you have spent all day fighting, pushing, struggling. At night, when everything is dark and you are safe enough to let go, even if just for a little bit. Stories about safe arms to let go in are, or at least I think they should be, welcome. They are in my world anyway, and that's where you are, so welcome. Rest. Let go. Is that what it really is like, being eaten up by a black hole? Have we been lied to about how it's this horrific thing? That expanding involves being torn apart and ripped to shreds. But instead it's just a wonderful feeling of being held, because you are just so vast, and there is so much space within you that there is no way that not a single molecule in your body couldn't be embraced. Maybe. It's a comforting thought, anyway, as what was once bits of white tile, photographs, letters, trees, headstones, statues, bricks, coins, treasures, mirrors, whatever, has been reduced further and further into specks of dust, particles, fine glittering sand in space. And what am I? What are you among all of it? What were we ever? We started this round invisible anyway. We were never letting go of ourselves. Just of all the stuff. Anyway, welcome. Rest. Let go. Here's a story about that. There was once a woman who... Wait, we mustn't start with her. We must start with the young man who hated her. He lived in a kingdom that was a very new kind of place. That is, all of the homes, all of the buildings, all of the shops, everything was as modern as could be at the time of this tale, or whatever we want to call it. They were shiny and new and lovely in one way, but it was at a great cost. Everyone was quite busy working, busy fighting, busy defending, busy stealing, busy buying, busy selling, busy learning, busy graduating, busy climbing, busy. Some people were born busy, lived busy, died busy. Life was a struggle, life was a push, life was a fight, or so it was said. Some people lived like that, but others disappeared. It started small, just one person, now and then, having stopped just long enough to be seduced away by something. Perhaps a song on the lake, perhaps smoke from the woods, perhaps an embrace in a dream. And they went walking, and they never came back. Well, we don't think so. Yet somehow there were stories about the source of the voice behind the song, the smell of the smoke, the inspiration for the dream. It was she who... Wait, I'm sorry, I wasn't starting with her. I was starting with him. He had grown up a student, then a worker, then a fighter, then a soldier, then a worker again. Never any time to stop any of it. Always he had to become something else, do something else, be called something else. Yet he had had a little time for friends. Friends are extremely necessary in the busiest of times, too. Even if they were from his student days, they saw each other on the way to work, on the way to war, on the way home for sleep, even after the time of study was done. And they loved each other as much as that little time allowed. Every now and then, a laugh at the lake shore, a sip at the tavern, a sneaky glimpse of the moon from a porch, reminded these 5 young people that they were friends and always would be. And that would just, for a little, take them out of the busy from birth to life to death. Just for a little while. When the first friend disappeared suddenly, they were quite concerned, but she had always been very easily distracted, very whimsical, not very good at work. Terrible student, clever person though. She always looked at the moon too long, danced a little too hard at the tavern, laughed a little too loud at the lake shore. When she became one lost to whatever it was that seemed to seduce people away, away, away. It was no surprise, though her friends were quite sad. When the second disappeared after speaking about his strange dreams, they were a little more perplexed. He had been a hard worker. Too hard, though. He must have cracked. Something broke. He never got enough sleep, never took good enough care of himself, skipped the moon on the porch or the tavern sip or the lake laughing more than others. In a way, it made sense, though they missed him terribly, too. When the third disappeared, it was absolutely shocking. He loved his life. He was climbing the highest, fighting the fiercest, working the hardest. He slept enough. He ate well. He had fun when he could. He did well. The remaining two were very, very frightened. And then the last friend went one night to the young man I want to introduce you to. And she simply said, "I need to go see where they went. I have heard the voice. I have smelled the smoke. I have dreamt the embrace. I need to go, and I will go. But I will come back and find you. I will come back and bring the others, and we will be together again. You must remain here in case I do not. You can come and rescue us, but we will be together again soon. I will come back." She did not. Days, weeks, months, a year passed, and no one returned. No one ever returned. Not only that, but more and more and more people in the kingdom left. Family, friends, workers, students, fighters, all of them. The place was bare. The place was failing. It needed them. The king offered a great reward to whomever could find the source of the disappearances, to whomever could return the kingdoms lost back home where they belonged, to their shiny, new, pristine, organized place, where their king was finding himself unable to throw beautiful festivals that they so enjoyed watching from afar, unable to defend them from the war he claimed was coming, unable to give them the taxes he promised to pay them back during the famine. "A great boon you will receive," he said, weeping to his kingdom, "if you bring me the head of the monster who has taken them." "Her head," he cried out. "Bring me her head." The king would not be free until she was found and destroyed, because too many of his warriors and inventors and weavers and farmers were caught up by her. He didn't know what happened to them, only that they disappeared, and his subjects were dwindling day by day. The danger was ever present. Children throughout the kingdom lived in fear of her snatching them up. Young lovers teased each other with dares to go into the cave at the heart of the world and look at her themselves. The kingdom was new. The country was new. But she was very, very old. There was no doubt about it. She was the source. Her voice echoed louder and louder. The king demanded everyone stuff their ears with cotton so they wouldn't be tempted away by that sound. Burn your own fires brighter and brighter so you won't smell her smoke. Do not sleep long or deep, lest you dream of her embrace. And the young man hated her. Whatever she was, he hated her, because he knew her to be the source of the sadness in his heart now. Before her, the busyness was awful but bearable because of his friends, his loves, his dear little hearts who kept him company. Now, the busyness was just awful. He took the king's command to heart and set off on a journey, cotton in his ears and sword in his hand. Now I get to tell you about her. It's hard to describe her, truly. She lives in the heart of the world, and when you look in her eyes, you have the distinct impression that you are not looking into only one pair of deep and endless pupils, but rather millions, millions of them. Of course, you can only see one pair, that is with your eyes, but you know the truth, and you know that truth is a million eyes. She is like a spider at the heart of the web, at the heart of the world, and people, like little flies, get caught up in what she spins there. At least, that is the little that the young man could glean from an ancient text he was given by the king. Go, destroy, do not let her talk, do not listen to her lies, just destroy her. A map so easily led him to the mouth of a great cave. It was easy to climb down it. The paths were clear and sure, and torches lit the way, so there was no risk of slipping. There were even handrails, smooth paved roads. Anyone could travel this cave easily, or with a little help if they needed it. He went deeper and deeper, yet the world did not grow darker and darker. Rather, torches were replaced by lanterns with multicolored glass, reflecting a myriad of vibrant colors across the ever-expanding cave walls, until he entered a place so vast that the ceiling seemed almost to disappear. He could not tell, our young man, if the rocks above were decked with crystals and dewdrops, or if they were twinkling stars. But when they began to blink at him, he realized they were eyes all around the cavern, on every wall. It must have been as wide as the city he came from, this cavern, he realized, given how far those eyes were. How were they so bright? You came, a voice whispered, echoing. You found us, our dear friend. Where are you? He hollered at his friends, holding his sword aloft. I've come to save you. You have come, but we are here. and here we will remain. What has she done to you? Has she trapped you? Has she hypnotized you? Why are you speaking like that? Why won't you let me see you? Tears filled his eyes as he felt suddenly so lonely and so afraid. Never, she would never. Not her, not she, not really. Come see, come see. You come to me. Come back with me. It can be like it was. It can never be like it was. We are here now. The voices called back sadly. Please, just let me see you. And the torches burned brighter. The lanterns blazed more vividly as his wish was granted. There they all were, everyone, standing on the floor across the cave, clinging to the walls, hanging from upside down on the ceiling. Thousands of them, their eyes bright and blinking, their smiles calm and serene. Every single person who'd ever been taken from the city he grew up in was here. All here, all now, staring right at him. It is a strange thing to be stared at in silence by what could be 1,000,000 people. They defied gravity, lining the walls of this cave like bats. He clutched his sword so tightly, his knuckles bled from the skin's breaking. And then he felt something. A hand on his shoulder, soft and huge and cold. Do not be afraid. They are not afraid. They are happy. They are calm. They are at rest. They are together. She was so strange. Indeed, it was all true. Her red eyes were so beautiful and unusual, and were you to see them, you would think, there are only two. You can only really see two of them, at least with your eyes. But in the same moment that the eyes of everyone else in the cave take you in, you see yourself with those millions of eyes too. And you know she is much greater than those two beautiful red eyes. She lives in the dark place at the center of the world, like a spider, as the king said. But what he didn't realize is that spiders are not evil. Her loves, her friends, her sweet darlings, millions and millions of them, they are not her prey. They may live here like bats, but bats are not evil either, you know. They just live together in the darkness because it is safe and they can rest well here. She held out her arms, and they were very long. She sang a song that was so sweet that with every note it drew the young man closer and closer and closer until he was resting in her arms, in her embrace, face nestled in her soft and cold neck. And the size of her and him became a perplexing thing, because he felt all of his friends there too, and everyone else for that matter, as he was absorbed in her endlessness, in her song, in her embrace. I have lived, I have died 1,000 lives, 1,000,000 times. I embrace, I enthrall 1,000,000 eyes. I loved them all. Come to me, little hearts. I will keep you safe and warm. Come to me, little doves, to my shelter from the storm. How many times can you run? How many years can we hide? To deny it is no fun. There is magic here inside. You will live, you will die 1,000,000 times, 1,000 lives, 1,000 lives. So embrace, be enthralled. My 1,000,000 eyes adore you all. Come to me, little hearts. I will keep you safe and warm. Come to me, doves, to my shelter from the storm. I have lived, I have died 1,000 lives, 1,000,000 times. I embrace, I enthrall 1,000,000 eyes. I loved them all. She lives at the heart of the world like a spider. And in a way, perhaps she does weave a web. But she does not catch and eat. No. She just wants to embrace. Lonely thing. Lovely thing. A young warrior entered her cave. He was brave, and he missed his friends, and he wanted to seek vengeance for their loss. He found them well, and they were so happy to see him. All of them. And when they all flew away like bats in the night, he realized that there were no walls to the cave, only a night sky above them and around them, and open, endless, vast, beautiful world. Open, endless, vast, beautiful freedom. They made the cave. She did. All of them together. In their bodies were their shelter and their kingdom. Eventually the king would come around and find this place, and the new and shiny and busy kingdom would be gone. One day, I think. No hard feelings for any of it. For all those lost years, they really don't matter. They're just a blink in one of the millions of billions of trillions of eyes in the heart of the world. I had a dream about a kind of embrace that you just sink into with a big smile on your face. I had a dream about a bottomless kind of love that doesn't close its eyes to anyone. I had a dream about resting there in that sensation. And I can't help but wonder if I can do that, awake or asleep. I can at least try. The truth is, though, in my dream, I was not the young man going into the embrace of a vastly loving, ancient, eternal creature. I was she. And no one feared me or detested me. I was not the one sinking. I was the one others were sinking into. And it felt exquisite. Can't be true, can it? Can't happen for small little petty creatures like you and me and all of us, all of the eyes on the million-eyed one, can it? Ha 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 ha. How did her song go again? La 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 Hello, my friends, and thank you so much for listening to episode 273 of On a Dark, Cold Night. This is Kristen Zaza, your host, podcaster, composer, writer, performer, the embracing and embracer. And I'm grateful you're here with me. I hope you're well. I hope you're finding joy and love to sink into where you can, too. I'm certainly trying. Sending great big thanks to my two newest Patreon supporters, Robin Graham and Christina Peterson. Thank you so much for joining us there and helping me create the show. I'm very grateful. If you're interested in supporting this way, every patron of $1 or more a month US gets access to my complete soundtrack, while patrons of $5 or more a month US get a weekly bonus meditation episode called My Quick Moments, and a monthly tarot reading video uploaded every full moon. To learn more, visit patreon.com/darkcoldnight. I'm going to be announcing some new perks for the $5 tier soon as well, so keep an ear to the ground for that. You can also help by donating one time only through ko-fi.com at ko-fi.com/darkcoldnight. Or you can buy a t-shirt or hoodie at bonfire.com/on-a-dark-cold-night. Or subscribe to the Sonar Plus Apple Podcast channel for $3.99 a month, where you'll receive access to the Quick Moment meditations and lots of other great Sonar Network content. I would love it if you left a rating on Spotify. You can also leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, Facebook, or wherever else you like to do so. Follow me on social media. I'm on Instagram at Dark Cold Night Podcast, Facebook and YouTube under On a Dark Cold Night, TikTok and Blue Sky at Kristen Zaza, or Twitter at A Dark Cold Night. Thank you dearly, everyone, for listening. Lots and lots and lots of that sinking, surrendering, ecstatic, and joyful love to you all. Sweet dreams. This podcast has been brought to you by the Sonar Network. Sonar.